Sun Radio Network.
Live from the Tampa Bay area of Florida in the USA, across this great country, and around the world, this is the Stan Major program. We are a live, typical talk program. I think we're typical, with an atypical talk show host. This is the kind of thing that you would hear if you lived in this great country, the United States of America, and turned on your AM or possibly your FM radio during the day or in the evening. Any hour of the day and night. We have radio stations that broadcast nothing but talk programming all day, 24 hours a day. We have networks that do that, and that's what the Sun Radio Network is all about. Many of you on shortwave do hear several of our shows. You hear American Sunrise with Frank Kinsman, Bill Miller, and Stan Anderson will be sitting in for him this morning. Frank's the only guy I know that when he goes on vacation needs two people to replace him. And then we have some other shows that are on the air on shortwave. We would like to do this program on shortwave around the world. Our first loyalty, of course, is to the affiliates, the fine affiliates on the Sun Radio Network. The shortwave broadcast is important to us tonight only because it is singular tonight. It's the only time we're going to be up on shortwave, and we're only up there via the good auspices, George McClintock, who runs WWCR, the shortwave phenomenon out of Nashville, Tennessee. This is the Stan Major program. We have 5 people waiting to talk to me from Massachusetts, from California, from Oregon, from California, and from Florida. I would, again, like to invite those of you who are listening in Canada, come on, open up in Canada. Spend a couple of bucks. It's not going to hurt you. Spend a couple of bucks calling us from Canada, and that in itself would help us to change our image of a lot of Canadians down here in Florida who seem to have the first dollar they ever made in their life. You're not cheap up there in Canada, are you? You can call us at 813-572-6226. Yes, you get a lot of Canadians who come down to Florida and a lot of Floridians who have a lot of things to say about Canadians coming to Florida. But that's the way it goes. This is the number if you'd like to call us from Great Britain, from Germany, from Italy, from France, from any place in the Far East, in the Middle East, if you're in South America, Latin America, wherever you may be. This is the number. Dial the United States, area code 813-572-6226. Area code 813-572-6226. Please, only those people out of the continental United States use that number. We have 3 lines available for international calls tonight. We've only received 1 thus far, and that is from a nice lady who called us from Lancashire, England. We'd like to hear from some other people from around the world at 813-572-6226. Let's go to Randy in Fitchburg, Massachusetts, listening on shortwave. Randy, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Great.
Basically, first I'd like to say I'm listening to a realistic DX440.
Okay.
Comes in outstandingly.
That's the one. That's one of them that George mentioned earlier.
Yeah, it comes in very well. One of the things I'd like to quickly discuss here is that I'm a constable here in Massachusetts, and basically my job is to serve process and evictions and stuff like that. And during this time of the year, it isn't the most enjoyable job, obviously, but it's something that has to be done. But one thing I like to mention is the fact that I'd like to see more people buy more American-made products. I think it strongly affects our economy, and I think that it really, for the most part, greatly affects the amount of jobs and the amount of manufacturing that is done within the United States.
Well, there's a fellow from Oregon who's come up with an interesting tax credit idea that if an American product is bought, that the person buying it would get a tax credit for buying that product. What do you think of that idea?
That sounds pretty good. Honestly, I haven't heard much of that before, but that does sound like a pretty good idea. As far as Did he go into in depth in anything?
Oh, yeah. He's contacted his congressman. His congressman has laid the whole plan on Dan Rostenkowski's desk in Washington. And, of course, now Congress has gone home until after the first of the year. I have I have pros and cons in my own mind about Congress leaving. I'm always glad to see Congress get out of Washington because they stop spending money when they're not in session. But on the other hand, with the economic picture the way it is in the United States right now, I think something desperately needs to be done, and it isn't being done. Listen, Randy, it's good to talk to you. I'm out of time. We have to take a break here. We'll be right back. The Stan Major program is live around the world. All right, the Stan Major program is live. The exception to that is if you're listening to the Sun Radio Network this weekend overnight, we are repeating this program. But we are live on this Thanksgiving morning in the United States. This program, by the way, if you'd like to hear it again and you're a Sun Radio listener, will probably be repeated on Sunday night. Let's go to George in Chula Vista, California, listening to XEK. George, how are you tonight?
I'm doing okay. Happy Thanksgiving.
Well, how are things on the highways and byways and the freeways of Southern California tonight?
Well, they're okay as long as you're not taking a flight out.
Trying to get out of L.A. must be something.
Oh, yeah, the airport, as far as I was told, is fogged in, so...
Oh, no kidding. What a night to be fogged in. Everybody's trying to leave or trying to land.
Yeah. I called in, and they had this show on Channel 10 here in San Diego about Pearl Harbor. And I wanted to ask a question.
Sure.
Okay. I mean, when I went over to and saw the Arizona Memorial, they talked about how we had radar back then, right?
They had just instituted radar. They really didn't know what to do with it.
Well, it was funny, not really funny, but sort of weird because they had some B-17s coming in from the mainland the day the Japanese bombed.
Right.
And the radar operator picked these blips up, all right. And I think there were like about less than 10 B-17s coming in, correct? Something like that. And there was more blips than that on the screen, I would suppose, if they sent 145 planes from the carriers. They said something about it over there when I was saying, so I'm asking your observation and question on this, that the only way for Roosevelt to get us into a war, to get into the war, and to actually go and help Europe, all right, was to have something started. And it was like he knew before, and he was advised and all this sort of stuff. What's your opinion on that?
Well, there is the theory that the White House was aware that some kind of attack was imminent. All right? They didn't know exactly where it was going to be or what kind of attack was going to take place. If you look back upon that time and the history of that time, you will realize that it was going to take a straw to break the camel's back, so to speak, to get the United States involved in World War II. To declare war on Germany and to declare war on Japan. I have always believed in all the material that I've assessed down through the years that there may have been something to the fact that there were secret codes that were broken and there was certain information that was made available to President Roosevelt and others, and possibly that wasn't acted upon, let's say, as quickly as it might have been, okay?
You know, the ironic part was that there was a telegraph or some sort of communique sent to General Short in Fort Shafter saying for them to be on alert because the Japanese are going to have something happening in the Pacific area. All right? And this communique was put on the file and was never given to him until moments during the attack.
There seemed to be a lot of very strange things that happened on December 6th and December 7th of 1941. Listen, it's interesting talking to you about it. Thank you very much for calling. Let's go to Canada, Montreal, Canada, to be more exact. Let's go to Cheshire, England, and talk to Arthur first, then we'll go to Canada. Arthur, how are you?
Okay, Sam, I'm fine, thanks.
Can you have your radio turned down a little, Arthur?
Yeah, just hold on a little.
Okay. It's booming back to us here in the United States. That's much better. That's much better, Arthur. Arthur, are you there? Sound of a man in England picking up a telephone.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you very much. That's much better, Arthur. How are you?
I'm fine. Well, how's yourself?
Well, we're ready for our Thanksgiving dinner here.
Yeah, that's the last Thursday in November, isn't it?
That's right.
That's today, isn't it?
Now, what is it? Let me ask you something, Arthur. Do you people have anything that's similar to our celebration of Thanksgiving?
Oh, no, nothing like that. We're not as good as the Americans.
Oh, come on now, Arthur. Don't call here with a complex, please.
No,
See, our complex in this country is we don't have a monarchy. That's why we like the Kennedys so much.
Well, I wish we'd get rid of ours.
So it's just a typical work day where you are, right?
Well, yeah, it's just an ordinary day, yeah. I'm a piano tuner by trade, so I'll come and tune your pianos for you. How's that?
Well, are you finding many pianos to tune?
Yeah, not too bad, as many as I want to.
That's very good. Listen, Arthur, is there anything you'd like to say? Because we don't want to run up the phone bill too much on you.
Yeah, don't worry about it. But I'd like to send my regards and best wishes and God's blessing to all you people in the United States. And I hope everything goes well with you. And while I'm on, I hope you have a very, very happy Christmas and all the very best in the new year. And don't keep sending this blooming Clint Eastwood stuff over here.
Thank you, Arthur. We appreciate it very much. Thank you. It's good to hear from you. Let's go to Robert in Montreal, Canada. How you doing, Robert?
All right, yourself.
Thank you. I knew my comments about Canadians being cheap would get somebody to call up there.
I think that's what did it.
Well, we've been on the air on shortwave now since 1 o'clock Eastern Time, and we haven't heard from one single person in Canada. So what does that tell you, Robert?
Yeah, well, I've been listening since then, and I said, oh, I guess I better call them now.
I appreciate that very much. How are things in Montreal?
It's snowing. Nothing new.
Montreal has gained such a great reputation for tourism and for just being a great place to visit. I'd like to spend some time up there.
Yeah, it's a great city, and we got a great hockey team, too.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I'd like to wish you a Thanksgiving there in the U.S.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been snowing here for a couple hours now.
Okay, well, drive carefully if you have to go out. Are you going to go to work today? Is this a typical day in Canada?
Yeah, typical. Yeah, I got to get up in the morning there and go to work, but I haven't been able to go to bed because I got such a great show. I've been up all night listening to it.
I appreciate that. What kind of work do you do in Montreal?
I'm in the Army here in Canada, the King Armed Forces.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, where can we send some Canadian military types? How would you like to go over to the desert in the Middle East for a little while?
No thanks.
You'd rather have the snow in Montreal, huh?
I'm supposed to go off to Cyprus in the new year.
Oh, boy. Well, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Cyprus is not bad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could be a lot worse. It could be Saudi Arabia, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Biggest beach in the world.
You weren't over there before, I hope.
No.
Ah, good. You missed that one.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to send you folks to Libya.
Oh, okay.
Bush is working on it right now.
Yeah.
And he's got Gaddafi all shook up. Robert, it's good to talk to you in Montreal.
Yeah, I just wanted to answer your question there. That one there, where would we want to go there? Where we would want to stay?
If you had all the money in the world, where would you want to live for the rest of your life?
Surfside Beach in South Carolina.
Okay, you got it.
All right.
Thank you, Robert. You take care. We have to take a break here, and we will be back. The Stan Major program, a typical talk program, is live in the United States and around the world. Let me give out our number around the world. If you would like to call us, you have to pay for the telephone call. I wish I had a whole bunch of money so we could pick up the tab for the calls, but I can't do that. But if you want to foot the bill for the telephone call from wherever you may be, this is the number to call in the United States of America. Area code 813-572-6226. We are reserving that number for out of continental United States folks in Canada, folks in Great Britain, folks around the world. So if you do live in the United States and you call that number, I've instructed Paul to very politely say thank you very much, goodbye. So it's gonna be wasted money, and you're not going to get on the air if you call us from any of the 48 states. The number again from around the world is area code 813-572-6226. Let me tell you how to lose 20 pounds instead of gaining 20 pounds of fat this holiday season. There is a hot new item called Reshape Formula. Reshape Formula. And I'm going to give you a toll-free number that I want you to jot down. I want you to call it, leave a message, and they will send you the information that you need to find out how you can lose up to 20 pounds of fat this holiday season without dieting and without drugs. And that's important. Now, the Reshape Formula costs less than $50 for an entire month's supply. What you do is you take 2 capsules of the Reshape Formula with 2 low-fat meals a day. And not only will you lose weight, you'll win that battle over the sweets this holiday season. All the apple pie, the pumpkin pie, the cookies, the candy. Well, it's going to help you. The Reshape Formula helps battle the craving for sweets. Now, here's the toll-free number for more information. It is 1-800-477-0668. That's 1-800-477-0668. Tell them you heard about it on the Stan Major program. Leave the information they request, and they'll be happy to send you all the information you want on the Reshape Formula, the hottest thing going to get that fat off. And you just do a little walking, little moderate exercise, and you do what they tell you, and you will lose the weight instead of gaining it this holiday season. 1-800-477-0668. Mention the Stan Major Show. All right, let's go to Roger in Medford, Oregon, listening to KOPE. Roger, how are you?
Pretty good, Stan. How you doing tonight?
Great.
Listen, I just wanted to call and wish you and yours a very happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
If you're traveling, please keep safe.
No, I'm going to be here tomorrow night.
You are going to be there tomorrow night.
Twice.
Well, I guess it's the job that has to be done, Stan.
I'm going to have my...
I have a lot to be thankful for, Stan. I have... my parents were divorced in 1970, and for the first time in 21 years, I have my mother, my father, and my brother all together under one roof for Thanksgiving dinner.
Wow.
So I'm really looking forward to tomorrow.
That's great.
And I don't want to take a lot of airtime. I'm really enjoying your program this evening. I did just want to call and wish you a very happy holiday.
Roger, you're a great American.
See you, guy.
Thank you. Let's go to Barbara in Grants Pass, Oregon, also listening to KOPE in Medford. Barbara?
Hi. I wanted to wish you a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
And also, I would like to leave as soon as possible to where you're sending me.
Where am I sending you?
I'd like to live on Prince Edward Island where they filmed Anne of Green Gables.
Wow.
I would like to own the property.
All right.
As well.
Well, with all that money you're going to win from the lotto, I think you can do that. Now, you've got to win the California lotto and make the California people really angry, okay?
Oh, I'd love to hit the border and make it, but with 8 kids, it's very hard to do that.
That's true. What ages are your children, Barbara?
24, 15, 13, 10, 7, 6, 5, and 2.
Shit, you've been busy, Barbara.
Well, I got to confess, some are grandchildren.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I did wise up a few years ago.
I got you. Okay, Barbara. Listen, it's good to talk to you.
Thank you.
A happy Thanksgiving with are you all going to gather under one roof?
Around the round table.
Oh, boy, I'll bet.
It's a huge table. But I'll tell you.
Well, I hope you got a big turkey or a big ham.
26 pounds.
Okay.
The butcher loves me.
Well, I bet he does. There's a lot of stuffing to be made.
Yeah, we prepare it at night, and it makes a heck of a lot easier on the actual day.
Well, you have a happy holiday and tell everybody I said hello. Thank you, Barbara. Nice to hear from you. We're going to take a break here at the half-hour mark. The Stan Major program is live in the USA and around the world.
The Sun Radio Network. Talk radio for America.
This is the Stan Major program, and we are live, unless you're listening to us on Sunday night, and in that case, this is a repeat of Wednesday night, Thursday morning's program. Let's go to Greg in Spokane, Washington, listening on shortwave. Greg, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing fine, Stan. I got a couple things for you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Same to you.
And I'm an amateur radio operator, and that is how I found you on the dial here. And I just have to ask you a question. I haven't heard much on this lately. What do you think Mr. Bush is going to do about Libya?
About Libya?
You bet.
Well, if I think he's going to wait another 30 days to see whether or not the economy is turning around, and if it's still going into the dumpster, I think he's going to have to plan a little military action there to try to jar people out of their lethargy. Maybe just in time for the holidays. How about that?
Okay. Well, I enjoy your program.
Thank you. We were on an affiliate up there in Spokane for about a week, and then we were never on them again. And I wish that they would come back with us on the Sun Radio Network. What was that affiliate up in Spokane? Do you remember? Interesting callers, KAQQ or something like that.
KAQQ's it.
Yeah, that one. Something along that line. They had like 5,000 or 10,000 watts on the low end of the dial. KQ, triple Q, something like that?
KAQQ.
Okay.
It'd be Kilo Alpha, Quebec.
Right.
But now I'm listening to you on 40 meters.
Yeah, I know that, but we're only going to be on 40 meters tonight, so you might call that station and mention my name.
Oh, hey, why not?
Thank you, Greg.
You bet.
I appreciate it. Those of you, by the way, who are listening on shortwave who would like to hear the Stan Major program live all night long, from 12 midnight Eastern Time in the United States until 5 a.m. in the morning Eastern Time, which is 11 o'clock in the Central Time Zone until 4, 10 o'clock in the Mountain Time Zone until 3, or 9 p.m. in the Pacific Time Zone until 2. If you would like to call your local news talk station tomorrow, well, not tomorrow, you'll probably have to wait until Monday of next week. Call your local news talk station and put in a little plug. They can pick up the Stan Major program and drop people like Larry King, Tom Snyder, Deborah Norville. They don't need all those people, right? And they can pick this program up, and we'd be delighted to have you do that. If you're interested and you like what you hear, we're here Monday through Friday, all through the night with live programming, contrary to a lot of the other network programs that come out of New York and Los Angeles, which are on tape during the night. This program is live Monday through Friday for 5 solid hours. So it gives you a chance to call in and participate, and many of you are doing that tonight. Let me give out our number again for those who are listening in Canada or any place around the world, in Great Britain, for instance, 813-572-6226. 813-572-6226. We have reserved 3 lines for international calls tonight, and we've received 2 calls from England and a call from Canada, and any place else. That's about it so far. 3 calls, 2 or 3 calls from England. I don't know. Let's go to Merced, California, a listener to KPLA. Mike, how you doing, Mike?
Pretty good, Stan. How are you?
Great.
Well, happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you.
Listen to you on KPLA 770 here.
The source.
Yes, you bet. And I'm an avid listener to you. I've never called, but I like listening to you.
Fantastic.
And, you know, the topics you guys talk about. What I'm calling about is, I don't know, down there in Florida, you guys are having a problem with the Haitian refugee situation.
Just a minor little problem. Too many of them coming in.
Yeah, they had a segment on it. Nightline tonight, and
I think Guantanamo is the real problem right now.
What's that?
I think Guantanamo base in Cuba is the real problem.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out if they're coming over here politically or economically. And
yeah. I have to chuckle at that because our government is very interesting the way they define those things. Anything that comes out of Cuba, of course, is automatically political. Yeah. But you know something? The Cubans that come over make pretty good money. Think about that.
Yeah. Well, the economy here right now is kind of slow over here.
Yeah, but think about the economy in Cuba, my friend.
Yeah.
Because the Russians are pulling in their horns and not sending the billions of rubles over to Fidel that they used to.
Yeah. Well, it's a situation where we have to make up our minds what we're going to do with those people, or what our government's going to do with the Haitian government.
I think what we'll probably do, this $26 billion in foreign aid that we're sending out, we'll probably have to bribe a couple of countries and try to offload some of the Haitians on them.
Oh, what do you think about the military action to send these people back?
Oh, I think that
the right government.
I think the United States of America should have sent troops into Haiti the day after the coup.
Okay.
It was a duly elected government sponsored by this country, and I can't understand why President Bush wouldn't have done it. There are precedents on the other side of that same island, Dominican Republic. Lyndon Johnson sent American military forces in during the Vietnam War after an attempted coup there to settle things down. I see no reason why we shouldn't have done this. We did it in Grenada. I don't see any reason why we don't have American forces in Haiti.
They say we have an economic embargo on them. And
well, I have news for you. We've embargoed Fidel Castro for I don't know how many years, and has that paid off?
Is it?
No. Listen, Mike, good to talk to you. Thank you very much. 20 minutes before the hour here on the East Coast. That would be before 4, wherever you may be. Well, if you're listening shortwave, I haven't the foggiest idea what time it is. It could be no, don't start, Paul, please. Don't put it up on the computer. I'm not even going to refer to it, okay? It's enough to deal with the 3 time zones in the United States. I'm not going to mess with the time overseas. Again, let me give out the number. If you would care to call us from out of the continental United States, the number is 813-572-6226, and we have 3 lines waiting available for international calls. 813-572-6226. And if you would care to write to Stan Major, I would be delighted to hear from you, because we're seriously considering putting this program on shortwave for a couple of hours every night, Monday through Friday. And unless we get the kind of response that I hope we will get, we won't be able to do that. If you would care to write to me from wherever you are, just a postcard would be fine, with a little note: liked your show, enjoyed your show, hated your show, whatever you'd like to say. We don't care. We accept it all. This is the address. Write it down. Stan Major, S-T-A-N-M-A-J-O-R, the Sun Radio Network, S-U-N, Radio Network, 2857, Executive Drive. That's E-X-E-C-U-T-I-V-E, Executive Drive. And the name of the city is Clearwater, C-L-E-A-R-W-A-T-E-R, Clearwater, Florida. FL is fine for that. Our zip code that the post office demands that you put in, or they won't deliver the mail, is 34622, 34622 in the USA. Write us. We'd like to hear from you wherever you may be listening to this program, and that includes the people listening on shortwave in the continental United States. We have a couple of lines available on our toll-free 800 number. That is 1-800-365-8833, 1-800-365-8833. The Stan Major program is heard Monday through Friday for 5 solid hours all night long on the affiliates of the Sun Radio Network, and on it's available in satellite dishes wherever you may be. If you have a satellite dish behind your house, you can pick up the program on off of Galaxy and off SpaceNet satellites. Let's go to Dave in St. Petersburg, Florida. How you doing, Dave?
Great. And you, Stan?
Fine.
Yeah. I'm really glad that there's a live forum in the middle of the night to call.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We try to stay live. We keep pumping with the coffee.
I don't know if you'll allow me to do what I want to do, but there's been a fellow I haven't seen or heard from in a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to mention his name and see if he gets in contact with me.
Sure.
Okay, the fellow's name is Louis Santa Maria. and he can get in contact with me. He'll recognize my voice, but maybe somebody else would be listening that would know him.
Mm-hmm.
And my name is Dave Harvey. I'm in St. Pete, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And he can get in touch with me by phone by asking information for Car Safe. Car Safe.
All right.
The company I work for.
Okay, where do you think he is now?
I think he's somewhere around Whittier, California, somewhere in the L.A. area.
Okay.
And if anybody knows him, have him call St. Pete.
I think what we should do is we should go on shortwave if we would be allowed to do this and have an international dating game.
That would be fun.
Wouldn't that be great?
That would be fun, yeah. I'm sure there's people all over the world listening to you.
And what would happen is the people would not really ever get together, possibly. The possibility of that would be, would not be great, but they would become great pen pals.
I'll tell you, that'd be a great idea.
Wouldn't that be fantastic?
Yeah, I love calling.
I mean, can you imagine all those French females? Just think about it. All those girls on the Riviera.
Well, the French are kind of snotty.
Oh, come on. Don't say that now. There may be some French listening to this show. They are not snotty, all right?
They're very snotty.
No, I
that
think
guy from Montreal, he was an English fella.
Oh,
I was in Montreal, and believe me, they don't care for the English.
Well, listen, he called us at his expense. What does that tell you?
That tells you he works for Hydro.
Oh, okay.
The Hydro company up there that makes all the money.
All right, listen, good to talk to you, Dave. I hope you find your friend. Let's take a break here. It's 1:15. The Stan Major program is still live wherever you may be. Let me give out the number for those of you outside the United States. If you would like to call, 813-572-6226. 813-572-6226. We will put you ahead of everybody else. You'll get on the air immediately. We'll try to save you a little bit of money on the telephone call from Great Britain, from Canada, or wherever you may call us from. The question we're asking on the show, if you'd care to answer it, is very simply, if you had all the money in the world, where would you choose to live? The Stan Major program is live, and we will continue right after this. By the way, if you would like to call us from overseas, here's the telephone number, 813-572-6226. And let's talk to Doug in Boise, Idaho on KFXD. Doug, how are you?
Good. How are you, Stan?
Great.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you and yours, Doug.
I don't have a hers.
You and thems. Whatever, Doug.
Probably the place I'd pick probably was Sun Valley, Idaho.
Sun Valley, Idaho? That's not that far away.
Ski country.
Okay. Are you a skier, Doug?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not either. I like to sit in front of the fireplace and watch everybody else ski.
Exactly. Hey, I was wondering, what do you think about the Hurricanes, that close game last week? Do you think that's going to hurt their rating?
Well, I'm going to be in the Orange Bowl on Saturday night to watch the Miami Hurricanes, #1 in the United States, against San Diego State, and I certainly hope they play a lot better than they played up in Boston Saturday.
Do you think the Huskies have a chance to be #1 at all?
No.
It's kind of a weak schedule, don't they?
How are the Hurricanes going to lose in the Orange Bowl?
I have no idea. That's a good question.
No way.
They are tough. Quick.
Okay. Yep, they are tough and they're quick, and they did not play a good game and still won.
But do you think the Huskies have a chance to be #1 at all, or?
No.
Okay.
No. Not at all. Okay?
I almost called you about 3 days before the Florida State game, and bet you a big bag of potatoes that Florida State was going to win, and I couldn't get in. That's how busy you were.
Well, I'm picking Florida over Florida State tomorrow.
Okay. Really?
Absolutely.
Uh-oh.
Because Florida State is demoralized after losing last week or 2 weeks ago, and they still can't get over it. And Florida's up for it, and they're ready for it, and they're going to do it to them, okay?
Well, I hope you're wrong.
Okay.
Hey, take care, Stan.
Okay, Doug, good to hear from you.
Bye-bye.
Little talk about American college football for those of you overseas. Our football is a little different from your football, right? But American pro football is becoming very popular overseas in Great Britain and in Japan. It is 10 minutes before the hour, wherever you may be, and we'd be delighted to hear from you at our toll-free number, 1-800-365-8833. 1-800-365-8833. That's the number for those of you listening to the Sun Radio Network and the affiliates and shortwave in the 48 states. Let's talk to George in Tampa, Florida. George, how you doing?
Well, I'm busy right now trying to put a sticker on a guy's car.
Uh-oh.
I'm working.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I'll try to hold on real quick.
Okay. I'll hold on, George. The sound...
Yeah, Stan, I'd like to say happy Thanksgiving to all those ham operators, and that I really enjoyed the show about listening to all the people.
All right, thank you.
And one other thing, I'd like to go a little politics. I wonder what our government's going to do about the Filipinos closing down the base and how much money we're going to save.
Okay. Good luck.
Yeah.
Thank you, George.
And to you, and a Merry New Year.
Thank you. Same to you, George.
Okay, bud.
Thank you very much. Let's go to John in High Point, North Carolina. How you doing, John?
Hello, Stan. How are you?
Great.
Good. I'm a Brit living in the United States, and it's a real pleasure to talk to you. It was delightful to hear a couple of my country folk a while back, and I would like to mention that we don't have Thanksgiving in England, but we have a thing called Harvest Festival.
Okay.
Which is very similar. In fact, people take fruit and vegetables and all this kind of thing and put it in the churches.
Mm-hmm.
And incidentally, Major, your last name, is very popular at the moment because John Major is the Prime Minister.
Yeah, well, he copied it from me because I was around a long time before he came along.
I'm sure that's... Incidentally...
wait a minute now. Your biggest holiday is the one... what is the one where the guy tried to blow up the Houses of Parliament?
Well, that's November the 5th, Guy Fawkes Day.
Guy Fawkes Day, yeah, that's very big, right?
Absolutely. When I was a little kid...
See, I have to like people who want to celebrate something like that, okay?
Well, you know, on Guy Fawkes Day in England, everybody builds what we call a bonfire.
Mm-hmm.
And they make an effigy of Guy Fawkes and put him on the top and burn him. It's a kind of a barbaric thing to do, but it's a tradition.
We do the same thing here with our presidents.
Exactly. When I was a little kid, I used to listen to AFN, American Forces Network.
Right.
And I had an old pilot radio, an American pilot radio, and I just used to listen to it. At that time, you used to have reruns of the Ozzie and Harriet shows and the Shadow and all this kind of thing.
Oh, we had the most fantastic library I've ever seen in my life.
Absolutely. That got me interested in shortwave, and it got me interested in moving to the United States, which I did.
Mm-hmm.
And earlier on, you had a fellow who called about a book that would list all of the foreign stations that you can get over here.
Right.
And I believe there are two, actually, one of which you may have is the World Radio TV Handbook.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is called Passport to World Band Radio.
Mm-hmm.
And they're both available, as far as I know, at one of the big chains like Dalton's or Walden Books.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a monthly magazine which has it's specifically for shortwave listeners. It has a pull-out section in the middle, which is pretty current. It comes out every month. It's called Popular Communications. You can get this at most major newsstands.
Great.
Yeah, and incidentally, talking about where one would like to live, I live in North Carolina. I live, in fact, about 5 hours from Surfside Beach, where the fellow who called earlier on said he'd love to love to live. That's in South Carolina. I came over here. One of the reasons I came over here is because the weather in England was rather cold and wet. And I love living over here. I've been spending the last 4 years, I've been spending my summers in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing a little archaeology work and volunteer work, and I love hot weather. I can't stand cold weather. So one of these days, I'm thinking possibly of moving down to Florida.
Well, you call me and I'll tell you exactly where to go, John, okay?
Yes.
All right?
What a good idea.
Okay.
Then I do hope you get on shortwave because you'll have a big listening audience, and the Brits, you know, they'll start filling around the dial, and eventually they'll start listening to you consistently, and I think it would be tremendous if you could get onto shortwave.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it.
Pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you. Keep selling furniture there in High Point, will you? High Point used to be the furniture capital of the world, but I understand that it's kind of slipped a little bit lately. High Point, North Carolina, right near Winston-Salem, and a nice area there. Let's go to Steve in Tampa real quick. Steve?
Hey, Stan. How's it going?
Good.
I called you before a few times. I just wanted to say that it's a cold night here in Florida, and if John is thinking of moving down here, forget it, at least this time of year.
It's a little nippy.
Very. It got down to about 53 the other day.
Right.
And I'd just like to talk a little bit about, I've been to Central America, and I think Central America is a beautiful part of the world. And I've done some backpacking out there, and also Belize is nice for skin diving and just general lolling around. It's a great place to be.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of beautiful places down there. I think the USA is beautiful, but there are too many rules and regulations on what you can do and what you can't do around here. You know, they don't let you really do anything as far as wilderness travel because
or how about a simple thing like taking your clothes off?
Well, people are so uptight in this country, you know, and there's so many things you can't do because I think there's people find things offensive, you know, whereas in other countries they just wink an eye, you know, they say, well, they're strange or something like that, but
well, where would you live if you had all the money in the world?
Well, it's a good question. There's so many places I haven't been, and of course nobody's been everywhere. But
well, you got 10 seconds to answer it, Steve.
Okay, I think Guatemala, perhaps.
Really?
It's such a beautiful place in terms of diversity, in terms of having the highest mountains and about the lowest areas, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really a nice place.
All right, have a happy holiday,
Thank
Steve.
you, sir.
Good to hear from you. We have one more hour to go. We are live, except if you're listening to a repeat of the show on the weekend. We are live at 1-800-365-8833. That's the toll-free number. If you want to call us from overseas, I will give that number out when we return right after the newscast at the top of the hour. The Stan Major Program. Live talk around the world tonight. Eight 572-6226. Easy on the controls there, Paul. That's the number to call from around the world tonight. And what we normally do when it gets to be this hour of the night here in the United States and the calls kind of slack off a little bit, you know, This is the way we start our show. We kickstart our program, and we'd like to kickstart it around the world tonight. This is not a Japanese motorcycle. This is a Harley-Davidson from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And this is the way we wake up America. We kickstart the program and get those people to get out of their bed and get off their whatever and call in. 1-800-365-8833 is the toll-free number here on the Stan Major program. And wouldn't it be interesting to hear what that sounded like in Jakarta, Indonesia? Boy. We are on shortwave around the world at 7.435 megahertz through the good auspices of a real gentleman, George McClintock, who was with us during the 1 o'clock hour Eastern Time. He runs WWCR, Worldwide Christian Radio, which is the shortwave station out of Nashville, Tennessee, and through the kindness of his heart, he has allowed the rest of the program to be broadcast around the world, and we are just so pleased that he's doing that for us. The reason that we're doing this tonight is it's a little test marketing, as they would say in the business. We'd like to find out whether or not there might be a demand for our product. And the only way that we can find out about that is by virtue of your cards and letters, my friends. And here is the address again. If you would like to write to us, send me a postcard or send me a letter and just let me know where you're listening to the program around the world or in the United States. The address is Stan Major, S-T-A-N, M-A-J-O-R, the Sun Radio Network, S-U-N, Sun Radio Network, 2857, 2857, Executive Drive. That's EXECUTIVE, 2857 Executive Drive, Clearwater, Florida, CLEARWATER, Clearwater, Florida, and the zip code is 34622. 34622. Just drop me a card from wherever you may be. Let us know. If we get enough cards and letters from around the world, then maybe we'll be able to put this program on for a couple hours a night and let you hear what the typical call-in radio talk program in the United States is all about. Okay? Let's see. Let's go to Tony in Worcester, Massachusetts, listening on shortwave. How you doing, Tony?
Hi, how are you?
Great.
I'm listening to you on my old Zenith radio.
Really?
Yeah.
Made in the USA, I'll bet.
Yeah. You come in good. You don't fade away at all.
Well, fantastic.
Some of the other shortwave programs fade away, and I get about 10 stations on one.
Mm-hmm.
On one set station. They come in, I pick up Blom, Italy, and Germany, places like that.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And you could hear, like, the waves, too. Ooh, But you come in nice and clear here.
Okay, Tony. Well, it's
I want
good.
to wish you a good holiday.
Same to you. I hope.
I listen to a lot of radio stations, but you're really nice.
Well, thank you, Tony. Drop me a postcard, okay?
Yeah. What do you think about the bank failures?
The bank failures. I think that we're going to be paying for a long, long time. That's what I think, Tony. Okay.
And what banks can we trust, and where can we put our money?
Boy, don't put me on the spot. I'm not a financial genius, Tony, okay?
All right.
But it's good to hear from you. Thank
Okay,
you very
bye-bye.
much. Thank you. Got to move on. We've got to take a break here. Let me give out the number again for those of you who are in Canada and outside the continental United States. We have 3 lines reserved for you here, and you can use them right now. And we will accept your collect calls during this hour. We will accept your collect calls. I mean, how many are we going to get? 2 or 3? I mean, what's the big deal, right? Just for this hour, we'll accept your collect calls from overseas. Dial your operator and put in your collect call to area code 813-572-6226. And we'll take 2 or 3 collect calls from wherever you may be. 1? Oh, 10? See, you're throwing numbers at me and I'm throwing numbers out on the air here. It's very confusing. We'll be back. We will accept your collect call from out of the United States at the 813-572-6226 number. We have all of our 800 lines full. We have all of our international lines empty, and we are accepting your collect calls from around the world, wherever you may be listening to us right now. We don't know the procedure for dialing collect from Germany or France or Switzerland or the Middle East or from the Far East or from Great Britain. You have to work on that. Dial your operator up and tell her that we will pay for the call at area code 813-572-6226. And we're doing that for the next 45 minutes. Okay? All right. Area code 813-572-6226. We will accept and pay for your call. All right. Let's go to Tom in Alameda, California, listening to us on shortwave. Tom, how are you?
Fine. Good morning, Stan. I wanted to wish you a very happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
And I wanted to let you know that on 7435 on WWCR, you're coming in on a simple code of about 8.5.
Mm-hmm.
There is a subcarrier interference. It's a constant noise on the same frequency. And I thought I'd bring that up to your engineering people.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked to some friends in the Bahamas in the last 2.5 hours, and the simpo there is about 7 with the same interference.
Interesting.
So it's a little bit, you could say bothersome if you are on shortwave, okay?
Okay.
But it's clean.
All right.
So there's not a problem with that.
Great.
And I was calling also to let you know, on that call that you had, the gentleman that wanted to know about the different reference guides for shortwave.
Right.
Okay, there is the World Radio TV Handbook. There is the Passport to World Band Radio, and also Popular Communications, if he wants to find out a little bit more about shortwave.
Fantastic.
All right?
Thanks for the information, Tom.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, can you please tell me, where are you on the FM or AM local station?
Alameda, California.
San Francisco, right across.
What's Alameda near?
San Francisco.
The only affiliate we have there is KPLA, which is in the Stockton, Sacramento area. That's 770.
Okay.
On AM.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Good night. Bye.
Again, we are accepting collect calls, and we don't have any yet, which is amazing to me. So if you're listening to us in the Bahamas, in the Caribbean, if you're listening to us in Great Britain, around the world, or in Canada, we are accepting your collect calls this hour, your collect international calls. That means that we will pay for the call. Dial your operator, explain to her that we will pay for the call. If she will call this number in the United States of America, area code 813-572-6226. Area code 813-572-6226. We will accept and pay for the call, okay? So give us a call from wherever you may be. Let's talk to Mark in Ventura, California, listening to XEK. How you doing, Mark?
Hey, Stan, I really love your show, and I'd like to mention to you, in case you haven't thought of it, people around the world, some of them are very afraid to call because they've grown up, like in Russia, in a whole lifetime of suspicion of their government.
Mm-hmm.
But I can guarantee you they're listening, okay?
Well, I hope they are not afraid to write a postcard.
Well, the mail and the phones are, in a country where they've grown up their whole life in fear and terror of the government. It can be rather bothersome, but they might put a phony name on it or something and sneak a letter out to you.
Okay.
I'm hoping that'll be the case. And on that note, I'd like to give some advice to our fledgling democracies around there.
Mm-hmm.
A free press and freedom of speech are the mainstays of democracy. Without that, you have no democracy, and radio shows are number one. I'll tell you something I've never told you before. I've had a nationwide primetime weekly TV show on the air here in the USA for the last 3 years, and I have to go through an approval process, and newspapers are the same way. You have editors,
mm-hmm.
and in case you haven't read the latest, in Tuesday's LA Times, there's an article written by Jeff Cohen, who is the executive director of the Fairness and Accuracy in Reporting, the New York-based Media Watch Group.
Mm-hmm.
And it's titled The Dilemma of Corporate Media Bosses. Today's news executives is part of the business elite that has to affect coverage. And I think you should try to grab a copy of that.
Why don't you send me a copy? That's the easiest way, because I don't think the LA Times is at our corner drugstore here.
Okay, I'll tell you what, I'll make you a copy and send it to you.
I got the St. Petersburg Times. I can trade you that one for yours.
Well, you know what? I had a trailer park in Lakeland once in my life.
Uh-huh.
Know where that is?
Right.
Okay, and I picked up yachts in St. Petersburg from Gulf Star and, different yacht makers down there in Denver, I think.
You've had a full life, Mark.
A full life. But at any rate, giving a little advice to the fledgling democracies, free speech is the mainstay of democracy, and in radio and in TV and newspapers, you have to go through an approval process.
Mm-hmm.
But live radio talk shows is where you can turn to talk to a nation instantly, and that's a case where the least may become the most.
Okay.
In a democracy.
Thank you, Mark. Got to move on. Thank you very much. We are around the world tonight, and we're accepting collect calls. We have yet to get one, which is amazing. We've gotten 3 or 4 people who paid for their own call, and during this segment of the show, we're willing to pay for the call from wherever you may be. And so dial your operator and explain to her that it is a collect call, and we will pay for the call here at the Sun Radio Network in Florida. The number is area code 813-572-6226. Now, For those of you who are listening Sunday to a rebroadcast of this program that was aired early Thanksgiving morning or late Wednesday night, of course, don't pay any attention to the phone numbers, okay? All right. 813-572-6226. The reason I'm hitting this very hard now is because we don't want to get too far into the hour and run out of time with a bunch of people waiting to talk to us from around the world. We'd like for you to get your call in now because we have 42 minutes left on the Stan Major program for tonight, for this morning, for today, wherever you may be. So call collect now, 813-572-6226 in the United States of America, and we will pay for the call. Let's take a break, and we'll be back on the Stan Major program, which is live Monday through Friday from midnight Eastern Time along the East Coast, 9 o'clock Pacific Time on the West Coast of the United States until very early in the morning. All right, we're starting to get the international collect calls now, and we appreciate that. Let's take our first one from Bob in Mastone, Kent, England. How you doing, Bob?
Hello.
How are you?
Is that Stan?
Welcome to the Stan Major Show, Bob.
Stan Major?
Yes, sir.
That's right. You speaking?
That's right.
Yeah. I'm calling from Maidstone, Kent in England.
Uh-huh.
South East England. I was in bed when I first... It's now nearly 9:30 UTC in the morning.
Yes.
Here. I found your program very interesting.
Thank you, Bob.
It's coming through, but very, very good. It's about strength 8, I would think. And that's very good. In
Yes.
41 meter band.
Very good. Tell us, Bob, tell us about your city.
City? It's a town of about 130,000 population.
Mm-hmm.
More or less in the middle of Kent.
Mm-hmm.
How far corner during the war? In the last war.
Uh-huh.
I've just retired. Well, I've been retired a short while. And I've been to Canada 3 times, and I've just ventured into America. I've never been down to Florida way. I've been to Montana and Wyoming, across the Canadian border.
Right.
It's a very nice part of your country. Very, 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 very nice.
Well, for those of us who live in Florida, we would certainly like to be up in Wyoming and Montana occasionally because it's beautiful up there.
It's beautiful, yeah, it really is. Across the borders it looks quite nice,
That's right.
Alberta and places like that. And I enjoyed it very, very much. It may venture into Southern America later on, perhaps.
Great. Come to Florida. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, I'm wondering if do you send QSLs?
No, I don't. We're not into that, but I certainly want a postcard from you, Bob.
You'd like a postcard?
Absolutely.
Okay, I've got your address, but I haven't got your zip code.
Okay, the zip...
I missed that on the...
Okay. The zip code is 346...
346...
22.
Mm-hmm. They'll find you at Clearwater, Florida.
Absolutely.
Okay. It's nice to hear you.
Nice to hear you, Bob.
Yeah.
Thank you. I've got one other international call I want to get to. Good to talk to you, Bob. Thank you. Let's go to Quebec. And Arnold in Sherbet, is it?
Yes, it is. Good morning.
How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. I wasn't able to sleep this morning, so I woke up early and started to do some work in my mini gym and building, and just happened to turn the radio on and flick across the dial, and I heard your station. I enjoy it very much.
Thank you. I understand you're getting some snow up there.
Yes, we are. We've got about 2 or 3 inches of snow already, and it's snowed yesterday, and it's cool, and it's just beautiful cold weather. We're already starting to think about, well, in fact, they're skiing already in the mountains.
How far are you from Montreal?
We're only about 100 miles south towards the Vermont border. I'm about 2 miles from the Vermont border.
Oh, so you're right on the border.
Right on the border, yeah.
Interesting.
So anyway, I just wanted to tell you that we heard your signals coming in here very, very strong, clear, and you weren't getting too many calls, so I thought I'd let you know that somebody's listening to you.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Arnold.
Okay, good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
And please drop me a postcard, if you will, Arnold. We'd like to get a postcard from you. We'd like to get a card or a letter from everybody listening tonight around the world. We appreciate the fact that we are on WWCR, And we're at 7.435 megahertz. The Stan Major program is what we like to call a typical American talk program. Our calls are basically unscreened. We don't ask a lot of questions of our callers. We simply ask them where they're calling from, ask them their first name, and we put them on hold, and then we put them on the air. We are, in this segment, accepting your calls from around the world, and the number is area code 813 in the United States, 813-572-6226. Area code 813-572-6226. We're going to take a short break here. We will continue with our program live from coast to coast and around the world, the Stan Major program.
The Sun Radio Network. Talk radio for America.
So this is what they call morning drive in Great Britain. We are accepting your collect calls from Great Britain, from Canada, from around the world. Dial your operator and tell them that these ridiculous people have all the money in the world here and they're paying for the phone call, right? The number is 813 in the United States, 813-572-6226. And we have two lines available for the international callers right now. 813-572-6226. Call us collect, as we would say in the American vernacular. Let's go to Holy Luck, Scotland. And Bruce, how you doing, Bruce?
Hello, Stan. I'm doing fine, and happy Thanksgiving to you.
Thank you.
I would like to report that I was coming home from work with a friend of mine who received you at approximately 7.5 megahertz on shortwave.
Mm-hmm.
I would register your signal as a 5. You have no interference, no appreciable noise, no propagation disturbance, and your overall readability is very high.
That's very good. What's happening today in Holy Loch, Scotland?
Well, today in Holy Loch, Scotland, the United States ship Simon Lake is taking a Thanksgiving Day holiday. The local people in Dunoon will just continue about their normal tasks, with a lot of sailors running around looking to have a good time.
and maybe buy a little scotch, right?
Yeah. Stan, I would also appreciate it if you would give me your address or put your address on the air so that we may receive QSL cards or program guides from you.
All right, I'll do that in just a few minutes, Bruce, okay? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good to hear from you.
Happy Thanksgiving again.
Same to you. Well, I can't say same to you. Happy holidays. How's that? I can say that, right? I will give out the address in just a moment for those of you who'd like to write it down. Again, we would like to hear from people around the world to see whether or not they would like to hear this typical American call-in talk program on for a couple of hours every night. And if we can work it out financially with WWCR, we'll be delighted to do it. Again, we are accepting collect calls from around the world, and if you're listening to us and can get your operator on the phone from wherever you may be, tell her we will pay for the call at this end. It is area code 813 in the United States, 813-572-6226. And please make the effort to call in now because we have 19 minutes left to deal with your phone calls, and that includes another commercial break of 2 minutes in length, and then the program actually ends at about 3 minutes before the hour, so we're down to about, I would say, 15 minutes of call content here, more or less. So get your call in through your operator now from wherever you may be. 813-572-6226. Let's go to some people who've been patiently waiting around the United States to talk to us on the Sun Radio Network affiliates. In Louisiana, for instance, let's go to Chastity in Tululu. How are you?
I'm fine. I was just wondering, how come no teenagers are calling? Because I'm a teenager. I'm 16 years old, and I listen for about 2 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
After your show, about the campaign. That's when I really started listening, and now I enjoy it a lot.
Well, most teenagers are not up in the middle of the night, Chastity.
I'm usually not up, but I started listening to your show, and I just enjoy it.
Well, I appreciate that very much.
Yeah, and no women are calling either.
Oh, yeah, we have women who call in.
I haven't heard any tonight.
Well, you haven't been listening all night, my dear,
No,
because they have called. And the thing is that talk programs are primarily call-in programs. The participation is primarily male. I don't know why. I think that women, for the most part, a lot of women are hesitant about calling in on a talk program, and that's very sad because now when I have a specific issue that interests them, like the other night we talked about whether or not the way a woman dresses can create a problem. We had a tremendous number of women who called in on that show.
Yeah.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
Listen, Chastity, it's nice to talk to you in Louisiana.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your call. Let's go to Brian in Parkersburg, West Virginia, listening to WBRJ up there. Brian, how are you?
Oh, fine.
Thank you for holding on.
Oh, that's okay. Happy holidays.
Same to you.
Say, I heard David Duke was forming a committee to delve into the possibilities of running for president.
Yep.
They're having a meeting Friday night at midnight, a clearing outside of Baton Rouge. So, anyone interested in getting on that committee, it's BYOS.
Okay. All right, Brian. Thanks a lot.
I think it's really interesting, the overseas calls. I'll get off and let you get some more in.
All right, thank you. We're not getting any right now, which is amazing. Since we're footing the bill, we're not getting any calls, which is strange. We're accepting your collect calls around the world. We're going to have to use our Kickstart cart on the people around the world, right, to get them to call and collect. Can you believe that? Hey, we're paying for the call. We have 3 lines here, and nobody's calling us from around the world. I can't believe it. We're paying for the call. Call collect 813 in the United States, 572-6226. We only have about, I'd say, 15 minutes at the most to get your call in here, so do it now. Because we'll have to cut the thing off probably at about 6 or 7 minutes before the hour because we won't be able to get to your call. Call collect from Great Britain, from Canada, from wherever you may be, area code 813-572-6226. This is live, and you can call us right now if you're listening to us around the world. The Stan Major program is live. If you're listening to us over the weekend on the Sun Network, then it is a repeat. But we are live right now, early Thursday morning, late Wednesday night, wherever you may be. The toll-free number for those of you who are listening across the country on our fine affiliates or on shortwave is 1-800-365-8833. Here is the address now to drop your card or letter in the mail to Stan Major, S-T-A-N-M-A-J-O-R. My last name is spelled exactly the same as your Prime Minister in Great Britain, in Great Britain. The Sun Radio Network, S-U-N, Sun Radio Network, 2857 Executive Drive, E-X-E-C-U-T-I-V-E, Executive Drive, Clearwater, Florida, C-L-E-A-R-W-A-T-E-R, Clearwater, Florida. The zip code is 34622. 34622 in the USA. Okay? All right, let's go to Steve in Clearwater, listening to our flagship station, WEND. Steve, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, Stan. Happy holidays.
Same to you.
I was thinking, you were talking about the dating thing. You could do something like that on a just a regular basis, once or twice a week when things get kind of slow, just for the fun of it, and see how that runs.
I'd rather do it around the world, though.
Well, that too, but I'm saying, but if things get, slow.
Things don't get slow on this show, my friend.
No, well, they're picking up.
They're picking up all the time, right.
I'm really happy to hear that because, need more radio programs like yours, and, it's bad when, you know, you got to depend on radio stations that run reruns of people, you know, after a certain hour every night. You know, it doesn't get the audience.
That's my biggest criticism of American broadcasting, especially the AM stations and the AM news talk stations in this country. They prefer to run tapes all night, tape recordings of programs aired earlier, rather than to put a live program like the Stan Major Show on, and I think it's a real shame.
I think you were talking to that guy in Scotland, and he said there was an American ship there.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, I don't know if they still do it or not here, you know, over in St. Petersburg they did, but they used to have a British ship come in every year for Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's still there or not, if it's over in Tampa now. I heard that was the last time. I heard that they were taking them over there because they didn't have the room, you know, dock space.
Well, they're definitely docking down at Port Everglades at Fort Lauderdale.
Are they?
Yeah, a lot of ships are coming in there. The USS Kennedy was down there, as a matter of fact, the aircraft carrier.
Oh, huh.
Okay, good to talk to you. Thank you, Steve. Have a pleasant Turkey Day, as they would say in this country. I hate that term, Turkey Day. It just doesn't seem right. I'm going to give out the toll-free number for the folks in the United States, and then I'm going to give out our 813 area code number for the final time in hopes of getting some collect calls from around the world. I can't believe that all three lines aren't tied up because we are paying the bill for the calls. If you would like to call us in the United States, 1-800-365-8833. Some lines available there. If you would like to call us collect, we will pay for the call from any place in the entire world on Earth out of the United States. This is the number. Call collect. 813-572-6226. If you can get to a telephone and get your operator to call us collect, do it immediately because we're running out of time. It's a quarter before the hour of 5 on the East Coast, quarter before 4 in the Central Time Zone of the United States, quarter before 3 in the Rocky Mountain States, quarter before 2 out on the West Coast on XEK in Los Angeles, San Diego, and on KPLA up in the Sacramento, Stockton area. And we're delighted to have you with us. Give us a call. If you're dialing in on the 800 number, some lines are available, 1-800-365-8833. The Stan Major program is heard Monday through Friday from 12 midnight Eastern Time until 5 a.m. in the morning, 5 straight hours of live call-in talk programming, very few guests, mostly just listeners calling in. And we want to keep it that way. And it's on the air Monday through Friday on most of these same affiliates, wherever you're listening right now. We're going to take a break and be right back at 1-800-365-8833, or if you are overseas, collect to 813-572-6226. All right, let's go to Anthony calling from Canada. Anthony, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you, sir.
And where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
Where it's snowing, we hear.
Yeah, it is, as a matter of fact. This is actually the first time that I've heard your program. I've only caught it within, I caught it about 5 minutes ago, and I decided that I'd call up and talk to you a little bit. But it seems to me like you don't have a topic that you choose. Everybody just calls in and talks about what they want to talk about, or how does it work?
Well, we have topics from time to time, and but I find that having the true open phones or open forums gives people an opportunity to call in and get things off their chest if they're unhappy or upset about something, issue-wise or whatever. Or if they simply want to comment on something that's been said by another caller. That's really what it's all about, Anthony. It's not a strictured or structured situation. And we don't do any screening. You heard me answer the phone myself, put you on hold, and put you right on the air.
Well, that's really...
You won't find the BBC doing that. Okay?
Yeah, anyway. Okay, well, unfortunately, I don't really have much to say at this moment in time.
Well, if you have time today, drop me a postcard. I'd appreciate it.
Okay, then. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's go to Paul in Altamont, Canada. How you doing, Paul? Are you there, Paul?
Hello?
Yes, how are you?
Not too bad. Very good. And my throat's a little bit sore. I'm glad I caught you in time there. I just want to know I'm very glad that you're on the that frequency because I am also say single sideband operator general radio service here and at the same time I'm listening to shortwave and I have nothing else to do. And right now I just happen to have a 1952 Aldi-Craft well-wide radio and I'm on the 50 meter and I picked you up in there nice and clear at this end. And I'd be very happy if I could, like you say, you don't QSL now. I hope you do later, because I do have a card I can send out there from my station.
Well, if we get into the business of doing the show on shortwave every night, I guess we're going to have to start QSLing.
Well,
Okay.
we would get some there from Sweden and Dutch and whatever across the country. I talk not all over the world, but very well in a lot of directions. And every day it's the same thing. So I'm very glad to hear the shortwave. I've been listening to talk shows before. At times they do fade out by morning out here. But
Where are you located?
I'm 30 miles southwest of Ottawa, Canada, a little town called Almont.
You're 30 miles southwest of what? I'm sorry, Paul.
Ottawa, Canada.
Ottawa. Oh, okay. Fine. Very good to talk to you, Paul.
Oh, very good to hear from you. Nice to hear single at this end here.
And I hope you'll drop me a postcard.
No, you sure will.
Thank you.
I'd be happy, and I hope the other CBers do the same thing.
Thank you. Good to hear from you. I'll give out the address in just a moment. Let's go to John in Southbridge, Massachusetts, listening to us on shortwave. John, how are you?
Fantastic. Your program comes in loud and clear, and my wife's downstairs getting the turkey ready to bring the guests in, and just wanted to say, hey, keep it up. I think you got a great program.
Thank you, John. Drop me a note. I'd appreciate it.
No, I will. I just think it's super, and I hope you continue on shortwave.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you very much. And that's what it's all about, friends. That's what we're trying to do, get as much coverage as possible, because we like to think that we do a fairly interesting, good program. I'm not sure whether the gentleman who called in 2 calls ago was being critical, who called in from Canada or not, saying that we don't have a specific topic. We do have topics. We don't have a lot of guests on this show. We do have topics from time to time. But primarily it's a freewheeling, open phone, open forum type thing, the kind of town meeting of the air where you can talk about whatever you'd like to talk about, okay? And there are a lot of people who just like to call in and touch bases and wish you a happy holiday, and that's fine too. And there are a lot of people who have something to say about the world around them and the politicians, etc., and that's fine too. It's been a long, long night. We're winding down, and the address is very important, and I want to give that out a couple of more times before we leave the air. So let me do that, and then we'll take a call from beautiful Vermont. This is the address. We'd like for you to drop us a postcard, because if enough people do write in and respond, then we'll know that there probably is a reason for us to do a couple of hours every night on shortwave around the world, in addition to being on the Sun Network with our fine affiliates from coast to coast here in the United States. The name is The Stan Major Show, S-T-A-N-M-A-J-O-R, the Sun Radio Network, S-U-N, Radio Network, 2857 Executive Drive, that's E-X-E-C-U-T-I-V-E, Executive Drive, Clearwater, Florida, one word, Clearwater, Florida, F-L, and the zip code is 34622. 34622. Okay? All right. Let's go to, I believe it's Adelaide, Australia, and talk to Don. Don, are you with us?
That's right, Stan. This is Don in Adelaide, South Australia.
My goodness gracious. Good to hear from you.
I thought I'd ring you and let you know that you're coming in here, very strong signal, strength 9+.
Well, that's very good.
Quite okay.
What time of the day is it? Is it morning, noon, night? What is it in Australia?
It's 8:24 p.m. on Thursday.
On Thursday. So, well, I can't say anything about Thanksgiving to you folks, that's for sure.
No, I hope you have an enjoyable one, though.
Thank you. What do you do in South Australia?
Well, at the moment I'm retired. I'm enjoying the good life, as they say. And but I do a lot of dial twiddling, and about 15 minutes ago I happened to be tuning across and picked you up and listened in, so I thought I'd give you a call and say howdy.
Very good. Well, this kind of a live talk program overseas is a little unusual, and we appreciate you participating, Don.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Good to hear from you. South Australia. How about that, sports fans? Let's go to Bill Barry Bill in Barry, Vermont, listening on shortwave. Bill, how are you?
Fine. Glad that you're on the air. We hear you really loud and clear here. And happy holidays from the Granite Center of the world. And we live about 70 kilometers from the Canadian border, and hope you continue to broadcast.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, I get to say.
Okay.
Happy holiday.
Thank you, Bill. Same to you. Now, wouldn't you think that a Vermont Thanksgiving would be like something really special? Don't you see that as being a real special thing, a Vermont Thanksgiving? The image of that, man, I can see that now with the people sitting around the table and the fireplace and all of the goodies and the turkey and the dressing and the whole thing. A Vermont Thanksgiving. It just, I just have visions of a fantastic Thanksgiving with the family. We are running out of time. It has been a phenomenal night as far as I'm concerned. I know that a lot of people who normally listen to the show on the Sun Radio Network are probably a little bit taken back by the fact that tonight we dealt with the shortwave situation, but I hope they will understand it was a special occasion for us, and it is a special occasion. I must again thank George McClintock of WWCR, the shortwave station in Nashville, Tennessee, for, first of all, staying up late enough to come on the air with us at what was midnight his time, 1 a.m. our time, here on the East Coast, being with us for an hour, answering your questions and taking your comments about shortwave reception and shortwave broadcasting, and then, through the kindness of his heart, allowing the rest... Please, a little lower, thank you. The rest of the program to be broadcast around the world on shortwave, and we thank him very much for that. For those of you who would like to write to the Stan Major program again, the address is 2857 Executive Drive, Clearwater, Florida, 34622. For those of you on the Sun Network, we will see you this Thanksgiving evening for Joel Vincent between 8 and 10, and then on the Stan Major program live for 5 hours beginning at midnight Eastern Time, 11 o'clock Central, 10 Mountain, 9 Pacific Coast time on this Thanksgiving night. God bless everybody all the way around the world, and write to me.
The opinions expressed on the preceding program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the staff, management, or sponsors of the Sun Radio Network or participating radio stations.